welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Oluwadara and I would like to subscribe to my channel for faith-based content that will edify you and uplift you and increase your knowledge of Christ. So today I'm going to be answering a question: can tongues be typed? So for me personally, I didn't even know this was like something that was going on until much later. I saw some people or somebody writes scribble some things in English or put alphabets together and then they call it tongues, and you're like, okay. And then I actually now discovered that a lot of people, there are actually people that believe that tongues can be typed, or they type out their tongues. Tongues in the sense that when I talk about tongues, I'm not referring to your English language or your Hebrew language or your Spanish language or your Mandarin. No, I'm actually talking about tongues as it relates with the believer. So the Bible makes us understand that tongues is a language of God. So it's a language of God, basically a language of the Spirit, that's an enabling you have because you have the Spirit of God. So can it be written? Can it be written? A lot of people use the Bible reference in the book of Daniel, where there was a writing on the wall, an angel of God wrote on the wall, and then the king didn't understand what it was, and then Daniel had to supernaturally interpret it. So they feel like, oh, because we have that, it means that tongues can be written. So let us just even look at the concept of tongues. What purpose is it supposed to serve? So this is more like me asking you questions so that we can reason together and then hopefully get to the same conclusion that tongues cannot be typed. So first we have nowhere in the scripture that said that they would type in tongues or they will write out their tongues. Jesus always spoke about, or from the scriptures we always have that they will speak with new tongues, they will speak with new tongues, they will speak with new tongues. Even in the epistles we have that it was all about speaking. So speaking, praying, singing, it's all utterance. So it's something that is being said, something spoken, something that comes out of your mouth, not something that is written. And then why can't you type in tongues, or why can't you write in tongues? First, you need to understand that tongues is not a known language. So the fact that it is not known, remember that many times people think that, the reason I'm speaking or I'm writing my tongues the way it sounds. Number one, you need to understand that the way it sounds is not what you are saying. It's the way your mouth is producing it, or your faculties is producing it. That's how it sounds in your ear. But what you are saying is actually not in the sound, but rather the spirit that is behind what you are saying. So it's not a case of, maybe I'm speaking in tongues and I'm like, okay. It's not a case of, I'm speaking in tongues and because it's sounding like Malabo Shundeka, and then I'm writing it down, and then you feel as though, I'm actually writing down my tongues. No, that is not what you're doing. What you're doing is basically putting some language in or some alphabets together and hoping that it will make sense when somebody is reading it. And then one of the faults that I found with people that say, I'm writing in tongues or I'm typing in tongues, is that many times you type out those things or you write those things out with alphabets that you're already familiar with. I mean, if we're saying that every language have their alphabets, for example, the way you write Jesus in Mandarin is not the way you write Jesus in English. The way you write Jesus in Hausa is not the way you write Jesus in Yoruba. The way you write Jesus in, say, Spanish is not the same way you write Jesus in French. So we already see that every language have their alphabets. So they have alphabets that they put together. The words are formed with this alphabet, which it means that if you are saying that, I'm writing my tongues based on the way it sounds to me, it means that you are writing it, if you understand English, for example, you are writing it with the English alphabet, which already nullifies everything that you are doing in terms of writing out your tongues, because you cannot write, for example, I cannot write Jesus is Lord in Mandarin, or I cannot want to write Jesus is Lord in Mandarin and then use English alphabets to write it. Already I can see that there's a problem, because it's not going to mean the same thing. or it's not going to be productive, because there are two different things that I'm saying. So, and it is also important for us not to feel like, oh, I want to be overly spiritual and then go beyond what the scripture tells us. The scriptures nowhere tells us that we should write in tongues. We didn't see any example in the scripture where they wrote in tongues. In fact, when you understand what tongues is, you will know that you cannot even write it in the first. So, because, and then what's the purpose it will serve? What's the purpose writing it out will serve? Do you want to send it as a message to somebody else? How would the person read it and understand it? In fact, when Paul was talking to the Corinthian church, he was saying that when you speak in tongues, especially when you're in the midst of the brethren, you should endeavor to interpret it so that the person has understanding. So the person's mind is unfruitful. Even your own mind is not fully grasping what you are saying. So imagine, so what purpose is it going to serve? Sending it to somebody else or writing it out? Like, it doesn't benefit anybody. And then if it doesn't benefit anybody, you can already see that there's a problem. So it's not for you to feel overly spiritual. Oh, I can type my tongues, I can write in tongues. You cannot write in tongues because already you're already moving to error, because it means that you are not properly taught God's word, or you are just unnecessarily proud. I say, oh, I want to feel like I've achieved another level in God that many other people have not achieved, which is actually not a level. It actually just shows your ignorance. So let us stick to what the scripture says concerning what the scripture says. The Bible doesn't talk about typing in tongues, it doesn't talk about writing in tongues. The scripture nowhere tells us to write in tongues. So let us stick with our speaking, our praying, our singing in tongues, and then use tongues for the purpose with which it was created. Speaking to God, edifying ourselves, building up ourselves on our most holy faith, praying always in the spirit. So I hope this has blessed you. If you have particular questions, or maybe certain parts that were not very clear to you, please let me know in the comment section below. Also subscribe to my channel. I produce faith building content every week, so please subscribe to my channel and hit the bell notification button so you get notified every time I post a new